For 41 years, Dave Storrer has been an assistant basketball coach at Wauseon High School.
But after decades of coaching, this offseason was filled with twists and turns. Now he's thankful to be returning to the court and doing what he loves for year 42. Dave Storrer is part of the fabric of Wauseon.
Gotta run, gotta run.
A husband, proud grandfather, retired teacher, and longtime assistant basketball coach.
Good crowd, Dylan.
He considers himself active, has been all his life. But after working in the yard on a normal May afternoon, all of that would change.
It just felt like somebody hit me in the chest with a sledgehammer. So I sat down, didn't go away, laid down, didn't go away. So I went in and took 2 aspirin and called 911.
What happened next would turn out to be one of the scariest days of his life.
I do not remember going out of the ambulance into the emergency department.
Dave was having a heart attack, and doctors were in a race to save his life.
I remember they asked me if I could take my pullover off because they had to do an EKG, and I was alert enough to say, "You've got to give me something for the pain."
The clock was ticking.
For 3 or 4 more minutes, he would have died. So it's one of those cases you'll never forget.
Dr. Charles Gabur has done thousands of these surgeries. It's routine for him, but this one was different.
Within a matter of a few minutes of getting up here, he was pretty much unresponsive, and blood pressure wasn't detectable. It was one of those, oh crap moments.
In less than 20 minutes, Dave was taken to the lab and surgery had started.
We were able to get access and get into the blood vessel and get a catheter up there. And that's when it got even worse because his right coronary artery was severely diseased, and then his left main coronary artery was totally blocked off. So he wouldn't have survived.
The stents were a temporary fix.
I knew that he would need surgery, but it was just to kind of, get him through to be able to go, get the surgery.
Dave just needed to be stable so that he could be taken to a hospital in Toledo.
I was 100% blocked up here, 80% on this side, and had some blockage on the other side, so that's why they decided to do a triple bypass.
He says he's here today because of Dr. Gabur and the Fulton County Cath Lab.
So what he did in that short time span to get the arteries opened up and the balloon pump installed was just amazing, because I really don't think I would have made it to Toledo had the cath lab not been out here.
A state-of-the-art facility that had only been open 6 months when his heart attack happened.
We can do diagnostic procedures, we can do pacemakers, defibrillators, we do renal denervation, which is one of the only hospitals that really in the area that does that.
When every second was critical, a team of doctors and nurses was nearby, and it made all the difference.
In Toledo, there's 30 other interventional cardiologists all doing the same thing, but out here, I'm the only one, and it really impacted. At least I like to think that I'm making an impact on the community.
Dave sure thinks so. Today, he's able to be back on the court for his 42nd year as the assistant boys basketball coach at Wauseon.
Pay attention to the details. I didn't know if I would be able to coach. I didn't know if I would want to coach, but then his recovery has gone very well, and I decided to go at least 1 more year. Everything's a year at a time, and we'll see what happens. Contest.
Another year means more time to do what he loves with his new outlook on life.
Things that I took for granted before, I no longer take for granted. Things that I thought were important before are not that big a deal anymore.
Well, Dave says he wants everyone to take advantage of the care and resources obviously available to them and at the Fulton County Health Center for the residents there.
And just to think that if he hadn't had that there, and it's only been there for 6 months, at least that technology, he wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was an amazing story. When I very first heard it, I knew I had to go out there and hear what they had to say and what they have there available at the Fulton County Health Center.
And I just said while it was ending there, I'd like to play for him, if I was young enough.
42 years.
Yeah, because he has this new perspective in addition to all the experience from before. So great story there.
Yeah. We'll
Glad
be
he's
right
doing
back
well.
after a break.